Machismos. ¿Qué onda? Dudes. I feel like I sound really funny sometimes when in my mind, I talk like this. But listen, I watch some of the videos sometimes. I try not to get, like, as soon as I post one, I'll press it and play it and put a like on it, but I'm not listening to it. Sometimes I'll turn the volume all the way down just to tease the algorithm a little bit to get it to maybe push the video a little more. I don't know. Is it superstition? Is there room for superstition in the algorithm? I don't know. Obviously there's a little bit. Anyway, I just think I know my southern accent sometimes is super strong, but I swear I can talk pretty good when I want to. Anyways, so the middle of the day, carb load was last night. I've had here's one thing I've been carb loading with. That's the pantry. Dave's Killer Bread Bagels. I'll carb load. I'll eat a couple of those on a carb load night with a full serving of rice usually. But my middle of the day supplementation is as follows. So you're not getting you're not getting fruits and vegetables. You're not getting big vitamin C sources. Okay, so I take 1,000 milligrams first thing in the morning. I was taking 500, but it varies. It's hard to overdo vitamin C. It's hard to overdo any vitamin, really. You got to take an absorbent amount. And I think B is one of them that you can take too much of. I think it's, for men, biotin is one you can take too much of. But anyway, so this is the middle of the day stuff going on here. 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Just throw it on down in there. When I had my tuna, when I eat tuna, I don't like fish. Tuna is not every day, but today especially, after the carb load, when I want to have a really, really lean day, immediately after the carb load, then I do a pack of tuna, a 17 gram or 40 gram, depending on what time of day it is. I'll eat the tuna, and I have to have it. The tuna in sunflower oil is the only one I can eat without like getting kind of nauseous. I don't like fishy taste. I like fried catfish. I like crawfish, lobster, crab, mud bugs, whatever you want to call them. Langostinos. Los loropistes. I put dill pickle relish and a couple of little pickled banana peppers in my tuna. It makes it more palatable for me. And also you get the electrolytes and the sodium. You replenish the sodium, because on this diet, if you don't get your minerals in, you start to get a headache, and that's why. So we go with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and I say that because when I don't eat the tuna, I'll put some pickle juice in my orange flavored tangerine. Actually, sorry, big tangerine. I know y'all are the little guys. You need it. Tangerine flavored 1,000 milligram vitamin C shake mix, and then take the B and I'll put some pickle juice in there. And I call it Gator Juice because it kind of smells like a swamp. It kind of smells like the bayou. It smells like the little marshy areas, if you've got those around you. If you've ever been in the mud in a marshy area, that putrid sort of smell. That's kind of what it smells like when you put the pickle juice in the emergency, the tangerine flavored emergency. But it tastes delicious. So that's weird. Anyway, we got a little off there. I call it Gator Juice, and it's a very good replenisher. I only put maybe like a third of a cup of pickle juice in there at a time. So we mix that up, and then the two things we take is I got the B50 right here. Nervous system health. It's a B complex, maximum effectiveness. It's got about 20,000% of every daily value of B vitamins, and if you can take upwards of 4,167% of thiamine and less of some of the other B vitamins, it's hard to overdo your vitamins. So take one of these and then pair it with a CoQ10 for energy metabolism. And this little combo right here with the leanness and just having that super lean meat of the fish, I get a really good energy for the rest of the day without having to drink a second cup of coffee. So, I'm a chugger. Anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to make a video on today. Second thing I wanted to make a video on, same video, different topic. When you work out in public a lot, and if you're a friendly enough face, I guess I don't seem like some sort of butthead, for lack of better words, because I get approached by a lot of younger lifters. I'm 32, especially shave the mustache. A lot of people say I look like I'm 25, you know. People are like, oh, you're in your 30s? Wow, you look great. I'm like, thanks. I'm thinning a little. Hair's thinning a little, but otherwise, I'm looking, I think I look okay. I think I look all right, and I'm proud of that. So they want advice. They're like, hey, you're pretty big, and we got the big pump going, and you've got a certain demeanor about yourself. You're approachable. So since I broke 200 pounds and really started looking a little bigger a few years ago, I get approached by these younger lifters, and I'm flattered, but I also feel a sense of responsibility now. I'm not the kind of guy to say, I got nothing to say to you. When they say, hey, how can I get big? How can I break 190 pounds? How can I break 200 pounds? I just can't get there. And I feel a responsibility. So you kind of develop, kind of like a stand-up comedian, or even a live music act, develops their set over time to be more professional and to come across more clearly and to achieve its stated goal of making someone laugh, or with music making somebody feel that. You know, you feel like when I watch Led Zeppelin live 1973 at Madison Square Garden, you can feel that. You know, Judas Priest at the US Fest 83. You could feel that. Triumph too at the same festival, same year. You could feel that come across. So the stated goal is to be clear in what you're saying to these younger lifters and how you're saying it, and being completely honest with them. I've never taken any sort of performance enhancing drug except caffeine. Okay, ashwagandha is something I take. I don't know if that's in the gray area, but I don't think so. I don't think that's a performance enhancing drug. I think that's just a supplemental herbal remedy that people have been using for thousands of years. Steroids they never really synthesized testosterone successfully until I think 1935. And then the Dianabol came around, and Anavar, Winstrol, all these things came around. I'm not hugely educated on steroids and how they work. I know what they are, and I know that I don't want any part of them. When I get a little older and it comes time for some testosterone replacement therapy, if I get to that point, inevitably, I think we all do, then I'll deal with that when I get there. But I've never taken anything, and that's one of their first questions is, do you take anything? Are you on anything? Are you on a cycle? Do you take gear? No, absolutely not, and neither should you be, unless you're going to go compete, and unless you're going to go get a pro card. If you're just lifting for lifestyle and don't touch the stuff, you know. And if you're gonna touch it, go see a doctor first. Be responsible. That's what I would say to those kids. That's what I say to them. All these guys are usually around under the age of 24, as young as 18, 19, coming and asking questions. So I like to practice my little bit in my head to make sure, because I always, the next day after some kid asks me, I'll learn their name, I'll say, how you doing, and then I check in with them when I see them again, you know, a little bit like, how you doing? Okay, good, take care, see you later. I always think of something the next day that I didn't say. The last one was a kid. I don't know how old he was. Looked like he's fresh out of high. Looked like he barely had a mustache hair on him. Young Hispanic kid, wanting to know how he could get big and what he could do. He was a collegiate. Okay, yeah. He was in college. He had run track in college for a couple years, so he must have been 20, 21. And he was very lean, but he was trying to gain some weight. He never weighed more than, I believe he said, like 135, 130. And he was about my height. He was around average height. He wanted to know how to get bigger. He was up to 160. He had never weighed more than 130, 135. So that's already 30 pounds. That's a decent gain. So just told him, the basics. Like, you're going to want to eat in a surplus, clean. And I told him, don't do the dirty bulk thing. It's not a good idea. You're risking a lot of your health in the long term when you're eating a bunch of donuts and chugging a gallon of chocolate milk. I'm guilty. I'll dirty bulk from now on. From here on out, because like I said, Thanksgiving this past year, Thanksgiving 2025, I went and I ate and I didn't care. All the desserts, all of it. That's not a good thing. From here on out, I would like to say, and just say it on camera, I guess, to document it, when we have a dirty bulking, when that food noise is really just like, come on, man, go get a couple of Long Johns, cream-filled Long Johns, a big old boudin kolache, and a quart of chocolate milk. Go lift and then go eat that. Okay. Do that once in a blue moon. But not to make that part of the lifestyle anymore. Don't. And I think that's something that in the modern sort of fitness influence sphere that we all live here. You're here, I'm here. It's a big sphere we're all in. We have a responsibility to highlight the things that are not healthy. The dirty bulk is not healthy. A dirty cheat meal, okay, once every now and then. But your cheat meal really should be just a rounded out, a more rounded, well-rounded meal compared to the lean meal that you're eating on your strict diet. I hope that's coming across. Anyway, point is, there's a responsibility for any intermediate to advanced lifters when these beginners come in to tell them the right things and not influence them. I'm just gonna say this too. I'm not gonna say who or what or where or when, but a guy that I grew up with recently, and if he sees this, he knows who he is. Love to death, great guy. He started lifting I believe from what he said, what I gathered was he started lifting less than a year ago. And he's already training underneath an IFBB Pro card holder. I'm assuming this guy holds his pro card if he's saying he's an IFBB Pro. Who knows? Don't know who he is. But my buddy's already on, he's on the juice. He's juiced to the gills. Okay? He's juiced out. And he told me everything he's on and the amounts he's taking, and I'm just like, dang, dude. Like, I should have said it right there in person. We were in public, and I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too nice sometimes, but you're risking your life. I didn't ask him if he's going to go compete, but he's at my age, so it's a little late to start that. Now, if he goes for it, go for it. If you're going for but you can't be. That card holder, whoever that guy is, shame on him, for pushing this guy immediately into this gear and allowing it. I mean, I would shut that down immediately, but I'm not an IFBB Pro either. So, say what you will. Anyway, last point. If you're watching these videos and you've been doing the body weight stuff, you've been doing the death rattles, the push-ups, all the calisthenics work we were talking about at the beginning, if you started that when we initially started that, it's time for you to get into the primordial pull and press. Look up that video. That's a past video we did with a very simple beginner weightlifting program. It's time for you to move on to that if you've been doing the body weight work for these last month and a half or 2 months or whatever. It's time to move on, and it's time to eat in a healthy calorie surplus. If you're going for weight loss, it's also time for you to balance the diet out to a healthy surplus to where you can still continue to lift, recover through the lift, and gain the muscle. Because eventually, recomp from a obese or morbidly obese or any of these larger body weights, recomp from that is gonna, you're growing the muscle's gonna replace the fat basically over time. In not so few words, in a more scientific way, that through the thermogenesis and the body's bioenergetic systems, that muscle is going to grow and the fat is going to, the muscle will increase, the fat will decrease. The muscle will hypertrophy, the fat will atrophy. Okay? So it's time for you, if you're in the beginning stages and you're doing this calisthenics, it's now time for you to move on to primordial pull and press. Hambo's Highway, I think, was the one we went over. Very simple stuff. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later, and have a good day.